In today's video, we are talking about the most dangerous cities in Canada. Before we proceed, I would like to caution you that when we talk about the most dangerous cities in Canada, this is relative to Canadian society. Canada has one of the lowest crime rate in the G7. We don't come close to Americans, the most murderous nation on planet Earth in the Western world, where people are murdering themselves. They're being murdered by government agents, by city police officers, by federal agents. We don't have that problem. We are a civil society. Canada is nicknamed the Great White North and is a major tourist destination to a lot of people, and mainly the Americans. As a nation in general, Canada as a country is full of activities, charming towns, cities, and polite people. I could say relatively the people are polite. Canada has great lakes and great mountains, depending where you are. The population of the country of Canada is 41 million people. Canada is a sparsely populated country. As I said in a lot of videos, the country is larger than the United States in landmass, larger than the entire European Union. But it is a population which is more or less of the state of California in the United States. We can take the entire nation and fit it in the state of California. That's the people we have in Canada. Canadian people are spread across this great land. Canada is considered one of the safest countries. So as I said, this is relative. If we are talking about the most dangerous cities, we are comparing Canadian cities to themselves. We are not comparing ourselves to South Americans. We don't come close. We are not comparing ourselves to Americans. We don't come close. That is a country where people themselves are murdering each other, and the government agents, be city police officers, are murdering citizens. And also we have this ICE going on the streets, murdering civilians. We don't have that problem here. That is exclusive to USA, which ironically trying to pride itself as the greatest country in the world. But you have government agents being sponsored to murder their citizens. There are some areas where crime rates are high. That is in Canada. As compared to Canadian cities, there are some places where crime rate is higher relatively to other cities. We are not comparing ourselves to the murderous USA. Most dangerous places are big cities. Big cities like Toronto. We are starting from number, which is just outside Toronto. It has a population of 570,000. That's slightly over 500,000. Hamilton has a balance of forested and urban areas and trails, parks, and waterfalls. It makes it a great place for nature lovers. That makes Hamilton a great place for nature lovers. Hamilton has a crime rate index of 54.6 per 100,000 residents. And last year we had 10 people murdered in Hamilton. In Hamilton, crimes like vandalism, theft, muggings, robberies are quite prevalent. Most crimes are due to drug problems. Let me explain something here. This is a general trend across Canada since I have been here. You would find that a lot of murders tied up to drug trafficking or to drug dealings, or either gang related, but it's a gang that is trading drugs, and you have other rival gang is fighting for the turf. In normal businesses, we compete by what we can do best for the customer, right? But these people, they actually compete by killing each other. So most of the crimes in Canada, in these cities, or most of the murders across Canada, they are mostly tied to drug dealings or drug consumption. Somebody randomly going around murdering people like what we hear in the United States. In Canada tends to be rare. Although we are not ruling out that it doesn't happen, but it tends to be rare. It's like there are few cases which you can read here and there. In Hamilton, as a visitor, stay in groups and avoid going out at night. Be careful. Don't necessarily avoid, but be careful. you have to be familiar with which places you go to. Hamilton is in Ontario, which is the province which I'm making this video from. It happens to be the most populous province. Roughly, I think we are about 11 million. This is the biggest province. The next one is Brampton. Again, it's outside Toronto, very close to Toronto. The population of Brampton is 656K people live in Brampton. Call Brampton home. It's a home to Pure Art Gallery and Rose Theatre. The crime rate is 54.9 per thousand. Mostly, again, as I said, this is the general trends across Canada, mostly related to drug use and dealings. Brampton is a college town. As a college town, it has a lot of fights and disorderly conduct. As I said in the other video, with these towns which were started by the university, once the university is there, there are people who move in, build hostels for the students. They also build other housing for the students, and they also grocery stores move in to serve the student population and the teaching staff. Then the police move in, and the city grows from there. The city stems out as a result of having a college established there. Brampton is a college town. So in a college town, there are a lot of fights and disorderly conduct. Vandalism and muggings are a regular occurrence. If you visit Brampton, do not flout money or expensive jewelry, or don't interact with strangers. Be careful when you're in Brampton. Okay. The next one we are going to move to is Oshawa, again near Toronto. Oshawa started as a car capital of Canada. It used to have the General Motors. General Motors started a plant there, and it grew out of that. Oshawa has a population of 170 people. Once known as the car capital of Canada, now it's known as the hub of education. There are several colleges, including Ontario Technology University. The crime index in Oshawa is 55.08 per every 100,000 residents. And common crimes are due to use of drugs. Crimes in general tends to be vandalism, petty theft, stealing, shoplifting here and there. Recently, we had a gentleman of East Indian origin who was robbed. He had this kiosk within a grocery store where he was transferring and exchanging money, changing into foreign currency, and then he had people come in and rob him. 3 guys, I understand they were all arrested. Days later, they robbed him of 50,000. This is some of the theft we have in Brampton. And simple assaults are very common in Brampton. And smash and grab, just hit you in the back, grab your bag, and then run away. Grab your wallet, run away. But it's not too common. It depends where you are within the city. I've been there several times. I haven't seen any of that nature. As I'm saying, here we are comparing Canada to Canada. We are comparing Canadian cities to themselves. We are not comparing to these out-of-hand criminal activities like the USA, like Brazil, like South Africa, like Ecuador. We don't come close to those countries. Probably crimes we have in the entire nation don't even come close to the state of Michigan in the United States. Last year in Hamilton, we had 12 murders in the city. And it is not recommended to carry large sums of money. You can use your credit card. Other methods of payment, you don't need to come here with a lump sum of cash. And also avoid expensive jewelry or expensive watches. In one of the Asian countries, which I will not mention, where this businessman, he had an expensive gold-plated watch. I understand it was valued at that time $500,000 United States dollars. And he had his hand cut off with a chainsaw, and people ran with his hand to grab the watch which was on it. So you have to be careful. But I'm not saying that can happen here. No, this is a relatively safe country. Canada in general is the safest country on earth. Trust me, I've been here. I've been several places within this country. It's the safest country on earth. And we don't have crime everywhere, like in Trumpland. The next one, number 7, is Winnipeg. Winnipeg in Manitoba has a population of 750. The city is rich with historical buildings, architecture, and museums. In Winnipeg, there are lots of cultural festivals, casinos, hockey, skating, and skiing. Crime rate in Winnipeg is 58.9 per 100,000. It is the second highest murder rate in Canada. Approximately 50 people were murdered last year. The regular crimes which every day happening are muggings, robberies, and assaults. Be careful when visiting Winnipeg, but as a word of caution, please, you don't have to be too concerned about crime in Canada. Of course, there is a little crime everywhere. Even you can be mugged in Vatican City. It is said that even if we build a city of saints, if we take Jesus and his angels and build a city, at the end of the day, there are going to be conflicts. You don't have to be too concerned. It's a little bit of crime here and there, but not much to talk about in Canada. But as I said from the beginning, we are comparing Canadian cities to Canadian cities. We are not comparing them to, you know which country, you know which Western nation where law enforcement agents are murder agents. The next one, the number 6, is Sault Ste. Marie. That's in Ontario. Sault Ste. Marie has a population of 72051 and is the major port of entry to United States. In Canada, these cities which are a major entry to United States, they tend to be a hub of gun smuggling. That's the problem we have in Canada. Most of our guns which are used to commit crimes here, they are smuggled from USA. That's where the guns are smuggled from and being brought in Canada. Last year's major homicide was about 5. That was last year. Most of the crimes in this city are robberies, theft, and auto theft. So if you are visiting this city, you are advised to lock your car and please do not leave any valuables visible through your car windows to the passerbys. This might entice or tempt people to break into your car. Don't leave your laptop in there. Don't leave your iPad in there. These petty criminals might want to break into your car. The next one we are going to look into is Sudbury. It's again in Ontario. Sault Ste. Marie, it's in Ontario. Sudbury, it's in Ontario. Ontario is having a larger share of these places with a high crime rate. Sudbury in Ontario, once a major center for mining, it is now a major center for business and tourism. It is the 4th highest homicide rate in Canada. It is the 1st violent crimes in Ontario. It is the 3rd in overall crime. And the general crime rate is 60 per 100,000 residents. Last year, they had 2,500 violent crimes and 15 murders. The violence and violence which are linked to drugs. If you are visiting Sudbury, which is outside Toronto, please do not interact with the strangers. Stay clear of strangers. Be cautious of strangers. The next one we are going to look at, our number 4. See, we are climbing up as we go here. We started from number 10. It's Kelowna in BC. Kelowna, which is Kelowna, Kelowna in BC. Kelowna throughout the year has a great collection of wineries, outdoor activities. It is now the fastest growing in BC. Kelowna has great weather. Like we in Canada, we talk too much of weather. It is not rare to meet somebody on a day like today and say, oh, nice weather, nice day, nice. Because most of the time it's snowing. We have like almost 5 to about 6 months of the year. It's overcast, it's raining, it's snowing, and it's raining, freezing rain. The weather, generally speaking, in Canada, the weather is crappy. Now, this Kelowna in BC, it has great weather throughout the year. It is weather comparable to places like Texas in the United States, California in the United States. So it is good weather, and it is also a collection of wineries. There they do produce wines and a lot of outdoor activities throughout the year because the weather is nice and people tend to be outdoor. And it is the fastest growing city in British Columbia. Its population of 222,000, most of these people, more than 70% of these people, they've moved in the last 10 years. Now, more people, more crime. Population growth equal growth in crime. And just let me point out one thing. Some of these places which we're mentioning here, they tend to have marginalized communities. Like in economics, we say where there is poverty, there is crime. In economics, we say generally in North America, but this trend doesn't apply across the world, but in North America, talking of Canada and United States, and even in Western Europe, if unemployment increased by 2%, crime rate correspondingly increased by a percentage. As people get out of jobs, they have more idle time. There is one person, I think it was it Charles Dickens, who once said that an idle mind is the stables of the devil. He was using this devil metaphorically to say, if you are idle, you tend to think of evil things. If you have too much idle time at your hands, evil ideas creep into your mind and you might act on some of them. If we say if unemployment increases in the West, in North America, Canada, United States, and the entire Western world, unemployment increased by 2% with correspondingly with 1% increase in crime. It could be 0.5% for every 2% increase in unemployment, something like that. But there is a correlation between increase in unemployment and increase in crime. So some of these cities they tend to have marginalized community, and with these marginalized communities tend to have poverty, and with the poverty we create a fertile ground for criminal activity to take place. They resort to drugs dealings as a way of earning a living. And now dealing drugs, then now you have to carry a gun, and you have to think of murdering that one who doesn't pay, right? Your drugs, who took your drugs and not pay. You have to murder that one, that rival gang member who is selling drugs on your turf. They don't compete in a way we compete in normal businesses, where in order to get customers, we sit down and brainstorm on what the competition doing, which are we not doing. But in these criminal activities, business, they don't ask themselves that question. They think of murdering that person, get rid of him so that he doesn't sell drugs in my area. Most of our murders, they are tied up to drug use and dealings. So in Kelowna, BC, which is spelled Kelowna in British Columbia, has the highest crime rate in that province, not in the country. I'm talking in that British Columbia province, and it's the 4th highest in the world, this country. Kelowna, BC is the 4th highest crime rate in the whole of Canada. The crime index is 61 per 100,000 residents in Kelowna, BC. Many of the crimes are related to possession, distribution, and manufacturing of opioids. This is some kind of drug. And visiting Kelowna in British Columbia is a great city. in terms of weather throughout the year. It's a great city. Now, if you are visiting Corona in BC, you have to guard yourself against muggings. You can be mugged, and also car theft and assault. I don't have the murder rate of last year, but they also have a fair share of murders. Obviously, as I said, like most of our murders we have in Canada, in most of the cases, they are tied up to use and dealings. Of course, then we have some few cases of gender-based violence, spousal violence, and where some dude murders his own family. And the next city we are going to look at is Red Deer in Alberta. On number 3, we have Red Deer in Alberta. This one has a population of 103,000. That's the population of Red Deer in Alberta. Red Deer is home to several oil companies and Alberta Sports Hall of Fame. Crime index is 1.7 per 100,000. Drug use, drug dealings, assaults, and robberies are the most reported crimes in Red Deer. At city level, in Red Deer, Alberta is a corrupt city. It is city councillors which are corrupt to the core. In Red Deer, Alberta, corruption and bribery are prevalent in that city. So we have to clean up the city. There is a culture of corruption and bribery within city politics in Red Deer. The next one we're looking at is again in Alberta. It's called Lethbridge. The population of Lethbridge is 100,000. The city takes pride in celebrating cultural diversity and history as well as performing arts. Crime index is 63.9 per 100,000. And the violent crime, approximately 1,500 people. The police in the city are combating a crisis of opioid. We are moving to number 1. The number 1 we have is Surrey in British Columbia. So we've stayed much in the West. As we go, you'd find that some of the petty crimes they have, for like here in Ontario, now we are getting closer to number 1. It was Alberta in the British Columbia, in the West. Probably what makes the West a hive of activities in terms of criminal activities tend to have good weather, especially British Columbia. Rains and the temperatures are all in the positives, or above 0 most of the time of the year. Unlike here where we have these frigid temperatures in certain part of the year, and for about almost 6 months we're in winter here in the eastern part of the country. So in Surrey, British Columbia, it has a population of 518,000. The crime index is 64.5 per residents. And the drugs are prevalent. Drug use is ubiquitous and a persistent problem which leads to crime like mugging, robberies, car theft, and assault. This is one thing leads to another. Some of the people, they're drug addicts. They don't work. They don't think of getting a job. The only thing they think is how to get the money to buy the next drug so that they can get high. As a result, they resort to muggings, robberies, petty theft, like walking into a grocery store and shoplift, and also they can assault you. And in Surrey, violent crimes makes about 31.5%. Break and enter and car theft is very common. And there are murders which are associated with this drug use, but I couldn't get the numbers for last year. This concludes our list of cities where crime is a bit high. However, as I said from the beginning, we are comparing Canada to itself. We are not comparing it to the state of Michigan in the United States, where there are murders in every corner of the street. So we are not comparing ourselves to even the state of California. We are not comparing ourselves to Texas. We are not comparing ourselves to Brazil. We are not comparing ourselves to Johannesburg in South Africa. No, we are not comparing ourselves. We are just comparing Canada to itself. That relatively there are other cities that tends to have more crimes as compared to the other cities. In closing, let me say that you are visiting Canada, feel safe We have one of the safest countries on planet Earth, and we have the safest cities. However, you just need to exercise caution. You just need to be a little bit careful in some of the places I've mentioned, that please avoid being very too friendly and too close to people whom you have just met, and avoid to be in dark places alone at night. We thank you for watching this video. Can you please smash the subscription button underneath? Smash it again and again. We thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to this, share and comment. We thank you for watching. Thank you. And Americans feel safe. We have safest countries, safer than the entire US. We have less crime in the whole of Canada than some of American cities.